Better rip.
Hey, it's about to be a new year. So welcome to the final episode of 2021 of What's Good Under the Hood. Up on your left top portion of the screen, the Duffin Chief. You changed that without me seeing. Rob Sanders
I know, right?
from Fox Sports Radio 1400. The gentleman, new year, new guy. Almost new year, new guy. Greg Hood from Mazda of Columbia. What's good under the hood, Greg? And my name is Andy. They finally spelled it right, too.
Andy with an I.
Thank you, Rob. He's in charge of naming us
Well,
today.
I get to push all the buttons, so I get to make fun of things. So
Happy New Year's Eve, both of y'all. It's good to be here today.
Yeah.
For What's Good Under the Hood.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here too. I'm just happy.
I have to be a little transparent here. It
Yeah.
actually isn't New Year's Eve. We're playing this on New Year's Eve.
But it's cold outside.
Baby, it's cold outside.
Baby, it's cold outside.
And it is. I mean,
Yeah.
it is a little nippy today. It's supposed to be 80 on Saturday. You know that?
This Saturday or the Saturday that
Whatever.
So
What
you
some
mentioned
Saturday.
you mentioned
Some
baby, it's
Saturday.
cold outside. Apparently, my daughter told me that song is considered bad.
It was for
Why?
a short time, but now it's making
what was wrong with it?
because it was
Misogynistic?
Yes.
Okay, what does that mean? I haven't been watching the
Because he's
news for months.
Because he's over putting the mash on her, trying to make her stay.
The
When
mash.
she's,
Putting the
my
mash on
question
her?
is, what's she doing in his hotel room
What
or
does that
apartment
mean?
anyway?
Greg, what does the mash mean, sir?
You know what we did the mash. We did the
The
monster
Monster
mash.
Oh, okay.
No, but, leaning on her, trying to get her to do what he wants her to do.
What
and
do you want her to do?
I wanted her to stay because she was cute. I don't blame him.
Well, no, but I think that when I first heard the song, that's not what I thought. I thought he was just trying to be like, "Look,
No, no,
woman,
no.
it's cold."
No,
He wants to snuggle.
They were. That's exactly. Snuggle
course.
was the word they used.
Spoon.
It's promoting snuggling.
Wants to
Spooning.
spoon.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, I misunderstood.
And I
then.
wouldn't. I would have spooned with her. She's good looking.
Yeah.
But you can't say anything like that now because it's politically.
I said I would have.
incorrect.
I'm not saying I would now. I said I would.
Well, now that we're past Christmas.
Then, no,
You know-
then back then when they made the song.
Back in
Now,
the 40s.
Speaking of songs that are
I don't
inappropriate
snuggle anymore.
and politically incorrect, did you know that Frosty the Snowman is politically incorrect? Environmentally politically incorrect?
What
You know
did
why?
Frosty do? Because he's got coal.
Exactly.
He has
coal eyes. He's got two
That's
lumps
right.
of coal for his eyeballs.
Yeah. Thank
So
you.
we
for
can't sing that
clarifying.
anymore either.
Yep, we're done.
Yeah, we're done.
All right, I'll see you guys later.
Have a nice day, New Year.
Well,
you
I thought we were going to talk about something positive, but now you're making me feel bad because, Greg, I read something that maybe the car shortage might be coming to an end. Can we get to a point where
Let's
when
hope
you
so.
open up the new Mazda of Columbia on May 1st is what we're shooting for down there, that you're going to have like a full lot full of new cars? Is that going to happen?
No.
Okay.
Um,
You were just killing me, Greg. You really
No,
are.
I think
Nice.
Cars.
what I will tell you is this. Will it improve? Yes.
Okay.
That my allocation I got the other day was the biggest one I've had in a long time. Now that means that amount of cars will show up in next month in January. But I was allocated 36. We have 2 allocations a month. And we don't do it the way you used to. They used to have allocations where you'd open and then you go in and preference what you want, or you order what you want, or you change what you want, or you say, I don't want that. And now they send us a deal. You open up the secondary preference and it shows what we're getting. And we don't even have any input into it. And honestly, I don't really care because we sell everything we get. So that's been a plus. Now,
It's
to
because
answer
you have great cars to sell, whichever ones they send
well,
you.
that's true.
Yeah.
But that is very true, actually.
Mhm.
I don't have any that are really sorry. There are some manufacturers that make some cars that are kind of
Yeah.
hard to give away, but
Not Mazda.
Fiat.
Dodge Neon.
What
Remember
did you
those?
say, Fiat?
I did. You
Yeah.
know what? Hey, listen, a Fiat isn't a bad, really horrible car or anything, and they sell well used. They don't sell well new, and I don't know why. Other than the fact they're too much for what you get, I guess.
I think the Dodge Neon was probably the worst car that I've ever seen as far as car that I drove. I didn't really have one, but
the
I did.
Chevette wasn't a great car.
I had a Chevette once.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
fuck,
was
the
that wasn't a because
was-
even the steering wheel was crooked, so you wouldn't impale yourself.
That was
on
my
it,
high school
you know.
car. Did not
I
work
had an Opel Cadet station wagon.
in high school. You did.
did,
Oh
and
my God.
Really?
I drove the wheels off that thing, and it was pretty fast.
An
Yeah, I have,
Opel.
no, seriously, that was a German car. It was a
Yeah.
good car. Anyway, what was your question again? We were having such a
Well,
good
no,
time.
we were talking about the you were mentioning that we were talking about is the car shortage going to come to an end because all we've hearing is we don't have enough chips and we don't have this, and we talked weeks ago about Ford and Tesla stock going down.
So
and maybe
by
that has a part
percentage,
of it, or
we're still significantly less in car volume through all manufacturers. Is it picking up a little bit and they're starting to see a little bit more inventory? Yes. You can drive by dealerships, and so instead of a completely empty lot, you have, a quarter of the lot might be full, and it depends on the kind of vehicle. The manufacturers are pretty good about building the expensive stuff so they can make the most money, and they don't give us a choice in what we get. They're not making the cheap cars,
Right.
particularly right now. At this moment, I'm pretty low on inventory on new in my store, but it is improving. I have my brother-in-law is a engineer for CSX Railroad, and he is one of the guys that, I don't know if I ever mentioned a podcast before, but he's one of the guys that drives the train down there at the Dixiana switching yard in Casey.
No,
Okay.
you hadn't mentioned that before.
So
That's interesting.
I learned something from him, and then I talked to him the other day, and what I learned was I was asking one of my close friends. I said, "Hey, do you know how that yard works down there?" I said, "How they unload those trains?" And he came up with his theory on what it was. And I said, "Well, I'll call Buck and see." And I knew Buck worked out of Casey, but I didn't know he worked in that yard. And so I called him and I asked him. He goes, "Well, it's funny you ask, because I'm one of the, I don't know, there's 3 or 4 of them that do that. And it's real tedious work. And a lot of guys don't want to do it because what they've got to do is they pull in 7 cars at a time, and then they roll these ramps up. And then there's guys that go in and put ramps in between those cars. So they drive them all the way off the cars. So the trains connect up in the yard, and then they drive them off, and then they put them in that yard, and then the truckers come and they pick them up and load them on their trucks, and they distribute them to us. And so that's how that whole thing works. Because I couldn't figure out, I would think, doing it 1 car at a time, it's not like you can just pick up a railroad car and move it. You've got to hook
Well,
up.
Rob can. He's very, very
Well, that's
strong.
true, but you got to, and he works there part-time.
Yeah.
So, but when they load them back up, or excuse me, when they have to pull out 7 cars and they bring in 7 more. Well, now when things change, and I'll throw this into the mix, I didn't realize, is there's a plant now in a Volvo plant now down, I think it's Somerville, or on your way down. Is it on 26 down
They're
there?
boxy, but
Yeah.
they're good.
Oh, they're very nice. But
Volvo.
the point is that they ship them out of the KC yards all over the country, and so it takes them a little bit more time, so they're a little slower getting them off they get them off the train, and now they got to loan the trains back up to get the Volvos out to distribute them. So it's throwing a wrench in the spokes. But what I told him when I talked to him the other day is, I said, "I need you to give me a heads up, and when you see the floodgates open again." He's going to see it first. The manufacturers tell us all kinds of things, and I say that as a collective. I'm not talking about Mazda. I have so many friends in the car business, and we talk about this stuff all the time, that we don't always feel like we get the straight skinny from some of them as far as what's coming or what's going on, because they want to keep us optimistic. They don't want us getting down in the dumpers because we don't have any cars. And so, but I said to him, "Hey man, when you see this thing open up, send me a text." And the reason behind that is that I will probably quit buying cars at auctions and start, focusing on taking that used car trade acquisition in by selling the new car. When I don't have enough new cars, I have to buy cars elsewhere from the public. We buy them from people in our service department. We buy them from the public. I talk about it in the commercials, and I buy some from auctions. And I try not to buy from auctions because generally they're more money. But I need to know when I need to get off the gas on that and change my used car model so I don't get hurt. But to answer your question fully, I don't see it changing at least for another 7-8 months on what I've been reading.
Right.
And once again, will it get back to the levels it was before? I don't know. The manufacturers have a different business model now of how they make money. We do too.
Well, as far as the pandemic is gone, are you going to take some of the practices you had as far as buying cars and just implement them even when we get back to a point where you can get the amount of new cars you normally would want?
That's a pretty good question. I'm a better buyer now than I was when I got in the game of this, because I bought cars years ago, and then I went for a lot of years where I didn't. And now I have a smaller dealership that I own. And so I have to buy my own vehicles, but I'm a whole lot better buyer than I was a year ago. And, I'm certainly in tune. I can tell you what a car's worth just by looking at it now, because I've looked at so many of them all the time.
Right.
Yesterday, I spent 7 hours buying cars, and I bought 2.
That's like 2 of Rob's work days.
Easy.
3. Sorry. No, but think about it. I invested 7 hours to buy 2 cars. That's a
Looking at
long
me
that's a
like
long
that
time.
for-
Over here giving Woods the stink eye over here.
That's okay.
You
Yeah.
work a dozen hours a day. I know. I'm just yanking your
Oh
chain.
goodness gracious!
All right, can we talk? I want to talk about me. No. I
Oh,
just
we can
said-
talk. We
No, I
can talk
just
about.
said
I
that.
you.
let's talk about Greg.
No, I said,
What do you
listen.
plan on doing for New Year's? What are you doing for New Year's? A big celebration.
Sleeping.
Oh, goodness.
It's a hell of a way to
I,
begin the
want
new
to
year.
come out to your house and play with your tractor. You
It'll
talked
be-
about it the
It'll
other
be
day.
a hell of a way to begin a new year because I'll be rested and fresh and ready on the 1st, and I can go out and play on the tractor.
What kind of
again.
tractor do you have?
I have a Kubota.
Yeah?
I
Is
do.
that the orange one?
It is the orange.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I'm serious. I want to come play on,
Well, you
on
can
Greg's
come-
tractor.
you-
Does it
come
have
out
the
there.
scoop on the front of it?
It has a loader in the front, yes, and I have a box blade on the back.
We should do a podcast from the Kubota. The Kubota
So I'll
cast.
put you guys up in the bucket.
That's right.
And I'll drive you around.
If we could drive around and make stops
So-
around the
So let me tell
estate.
you something. So I learned something about tractoring.
Yeah.
So in my front yard, I had a big low spot, and Comporium is putting in fiber optics in my area. So when they put in the boxes, they have to dig out some dirt along the street, and there was this big pile of dirt that was at the end of the road, and it's just a pile of dirt. And I needed some dirt for my front yard before I put the lawn in there because there was a low spot. And I went down the street and I grabbed my. Are you guys texting while I'm talking?
No,
Jeez
I'm going
Louise.
to play you
I'm not
something.
texting. He was playing something.
You know what this song is?
Yeah, turn it off.
Hold on. Stop it for a second.
Hey, stop it. You know why?
Oh, that's right. They're going to bust us
Yeah,
because
that's
of the
right.
music.
We'll get
Sorry.
in trouble.
We didn't mean to do that. We take it back.
Actually, if you're at a radio station and you're doing it, is it legit? Because you play those
Too
songs
legit
on
to
the-
quit.
Actually, no, but we
No.
can talk
Yeah,
about that later on.
Actually, no. I hope you didn't get
Sorry.
enough in there where you get us
The
cut off.
8 seconds. 8 seconds is the window.
I think
You-
it was
you
like
didn't hear that
5.
from me,
Yeah,
but
Yeah, we didn't do that.
Anyway, the moral to that story is that my friend Jeff Smith, he's my neighbor, a farmer, he's an interesting, wonderful human being. And when I got my tractor, he told me, he said, you got to be careful. And he says, if you roll with that bucket up real high and you're full of the load, you could tip it over of dirt. What the hell's wrong with you? Anyway, you can roll the thing over.
Mhm.
So a couple months went by and I'm ripping around, and as all of a sudden I got 50, 60 hours in the thing, and I'm thinking I've got this, and I go down the street and I get into that big old pile of dirt and got a completely full bucket. And so I took it because I was going to go up the street. COVID. I was going to go up the street, and so I shook the bucket a little bit. I lifted it up higher than I normally would, and I shook it to get the edges off because it wouldn't
Right.
blow back in my face while I'm ripping down the road.
can't have that.
No, because sand in your eyes is no fun.
No.
So anyway, as I went to back up, I kind of was doing it all at once, and I did a turn backing up, and all of a sudden the thing starts tipping over.
Mm.
And now I know what a tipping point means because I was stuck at the tipping point, and I'm thinking, am I jumping off this thing
Oh,
or am I sticking with it?
oh no, no, no.
What'd you do?
punching
Stick
out.
with it? You stuck with it, didn't you?
Well, I because of the way it happened kind of slowly, but it happened. And I got to think it through, and I turned the steering wheel, and when I turned the steering wheel, it came back down. But I'm not kidding you. I was at that very edge. And what I realized is that he told me that 2 months earlier.
Yeah.
I had a little brain fade over 2 months, but I promise you now, I get on that tractor every time I think about that.
Well, you know what I call that? That's I either call that a Woods or an ID10T problem.
That would be an ID10T.
ID10T.
Yeah. No, man, I was just talking about feeling like an idiot. That was me. So it was an adventure, but it's really a blast. My brother came to visit me last weekend, and he went out in my yard and drug some dirt around and had a pretty good time. He did a pretty good job. He'd never
Yeah.
been on a tractor before, and he went out there and messed up my yard completely in the back, and it was good.
Then he left. Bye, Greg.
He took off for me to repair it. So it was great. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Sticking
Fair
to it.
enough.
That's right.
That was a country song too, Colin Ray.
You know, I like
My
Colin
story,
Ray,
and I'm
by
sticking
the
to
way.
it. Where did he go? He had like,
Well, he had like 4 hits and then
Then he
took
was
that money
done.
and went home.
I would have
Wow.
done the same thing.
That's what I would have done.
That's what I'm going to do.
Exactly. Once you write that first song, Greg, I'll download it.
Mhm.
All it takes is one number one, and you're done.
That's
Mhm.
correct. All right. What else? We got anything else?
Well, quickly
All right.
before we get out of here, there was the other story that I had that. Oh goodness, where is it? Oh,
Is
it's
car
right here.
shortage coming? No, big
No.
EV
Oh yeah,
plants? Is
there's
that
a
the one?
big EV plant coming to our state, and I read the article about that. I mean, it gives you a general idea of how big the automotive industry is around the world, basically. But we're going to get, I think it was 200 jobs, is what I read. that are going to be just
so that's
put
more
in there.
geared toward commercial vehicles, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
correct?
Yeah.
But it's interesting. It's up is it in Spartanburg or Greenville?
I think it's in Spartanburg. Yeah.
So that whole area, because of BMW and all the suppliers that are up there, it's the perfect place. Our labor is relatively inexpensive,
Right.
and it's a great location.
But
and
these are good jobs.
They are great jobs, but it gives logistically, it's very, very good as well. A great place for them to be, but that will not affect our industry on the automotive side. That's all heavy duty stuff.
I just, when I see
But it is
stuff like that,
interesting.
though, it just, when I see where, and they're making vehicles, and it's just, you don't realize how big the automotive industry is and how it can affect the economy when things like that happen.
Well, did you know? Don't you remember I said 1 out of 8, every 8 jobs in the United States is attached somehow to an automotive?
Well, I thought you were just joking with me, but now I'm starting to see it.
No, I'm always joking with you, but in that particular case, though, I was very serious. Everybody's attached to it. Matter of fact, you guys make part of your living based upon what happens in the automotive industry.
Doggone right.
Exactly.
You
Yes,
do.
sir, we do.
Advertising. I mean, I spend my money with you, so
Mhm.
it definitely impacts a lot of things. So supplier issues and all that. I don't know whether I didn't read it fully, but are they making the batteries there?
I
what they were
think
planning on
I think
doing?
they're assembling there, if I remember correctly. I got to
Okay.
look at it, but
All
still, I mean, 200 jobs that are going to be really, really good.
Well, there's a Buc-ee's that is opening in
Really?
Florence, and for those of you that don't know what a Buc-ee's is,
Yeah.
you got to look them up. They're a huge gas station.
It's a gas station the size of a Walmart.
Yeah, there's the 65,000 square foot building
Yeah.
inside. They have a deli. They sell pulled pork sandwiches. They have the best bakery I think I've ever seen. Only gas station I've ever seen with a shopping cart. A shopping cart. But the thing is, they sell clothing. They sell slippers. I'm going to get you a Buc-ee's t-shirt, Andy.
I would love a Buc-ee's.
I would.
Buc-ee's
Matter of fact, we
t-shirt.
should all wear one. But the point
We
is,
should.
they're putting 200 jobs in there too.
Yeah.
200 jobs for a gas station.
That's more than a gas station. I think gas is an afterthought for them, and
It's
you
a
know,
magnet. is
and they're
what it
very
is.
smart because eventually there will be no gas by 25.
So they'll
They're gonna do
convert
away
all
with the
those
gas so
to
they can
electric.
do all of it and not worry about the gas.
So they have a couple hundred gas pumps, 250 gas pumps.
250 at one place.
Yeah, and it's insane.
That is insane. I mean,
I
I thought
went to
QTs were
No,
large places.
They make a QT look like a rookie.
Yeah,
Coming from Daytona is where one was. I think there's 2 of them in Florida. They are out of Texas originally, but I stopped on. I was coming back from Bike Week, and I stopped at one. And it was pretty cool. But
So,
200 jobs.
A friend of mine on YouTube actually walked through one of the stores and just talked about all the stuff that was there. And it was like a 25-minute YouTube video of him like, look, they have this and this and this and this and this. I was amazed.
Well, and there's a bunch of Buc-ee's. There was a couple that was living in one of those Mercedes camper vans, and they were doing videos, and they spent 2 days at a Buc-ee's eating every meal there, and they had some pretty good stuff. It was impressive. So I'm going to Buc-ee's.
Gotta love it. Buc-ee's. We're gonna get one here, maybe. That'd be nice.
Are we?
In Columbia. No, I'm just thinking out loud. I'm hoping.
Oh, optimistic.
Well, I'm the eternal optimist rolling into the new year. Happy New Year's Eve. Happy New Year.
Happy
Man,
New Year.
2022 is going to be huge for Mazda of Columbia. May whatever. You guys are going to be in the brand new building and
We will be there.
doing great business as you guys are doing the alternate location over on Broad River,
Greystone.
Broad River.
We're actually on the corner.
Of Greystone and Broad River.
Yeah.
It's
And at
great- it's straight down the
MazdaofColumbia.com. That's
street.
MazdaofColumbia.com.
No, I say it better than you.
How do you say everything better than I do? New year, new guy. It's What's Good Under the Hood. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the follow button. There's another episode coming in a week. Dope in Chief, Rob Sanders of Fox Sports Radio 1400, Greg Hood, What's Good Under the Hood, owner of Mazda of Columbia. My name is Andy. Thanks for watching and listening.
Andy with an I.
Andy with an I Woods. No capital in the W either. I don't like that.
All right. Everybody don't drink too much and don't drive and drink and be safe and have fun.
Thanks, dude. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.